Thank you all for coming, and for those who are online, welcome. I am the CEO and one of the co-founders of Scandinavian ChemoTech, a life science company focused on developing medical devices and technologies to treat cancer for both humans and for animals. We have strong focus on establishing new technologies that can not only improve the quality of life and the results for those patients, but our target is also to reduce the side effects and create cost cutting in the healthcare systems. Sorry. Just a few weeks ago, our technology was introduced to one of the largest equine, or in for you perhaps, horse colleges in the world, Royal College of Veterinary in London. They used our technology to treat a couple of horses suffering from something is called sarcoids. Sarcoids in horses are very, very painful. It's not that they give metastasis and perhaps kill the horse, but creates a lot of suffering. Treating horses is that's a very, very critical healthcare moment, because to treat a horse that you need to put under general anesthesia, put them to sleep, generates life-threatening events for those patients. We are very happy to announce that the RVC in London not only reported a successful treatment of these horses, they also reported that, in differ from older technologies that they used, ChemoTech's TSE technology could treat those horses without giving general anesthesia, which improves not only the risk profile of the treatment, it also improves the number of owners who are willing to put their patients to treatment instead of letting those suffer from this horrible disease. But who are we? Now you just heard a story. What's behind ChemoTech? We are a public traded company since 2016, December. We started the company in 2015, which might sound quite quick. But the founders, myself, a former professor in radiophysics, and a surgeon, we have together collected over soon 40 years of research and development and commercial knowledge from this treatment technology that we are focusing on. We have two business units: human medicine, human care, we call that, and animal care is the veterinary leg in our business. And we have operations in Europe, in Asia, India, in United States. And we have commercialization or clinical evaluations also in United States and Europe, in Ukraine, Southeast Asia, soon to start also in further down in Australia. Inventions does not always come from a laboratory. They don't always come from rocket science. Very often they come from basically open your eyes and your ears and acknowledge what you see and use that knowledge and transform that to improvement of technologies or create new technologies. At age of 5, I'm equal to perhaps a few of you on here in the room licked on a 6-volt battery. That hurt. That hurt, and I burned my tongue. If a 6-volt battery can hurt your tongue, please remember this, because we are talking about technologies to treat human and animals with not 6-volt battery, but 1000 volts. We have, as I said, two business units, and we have two commercial product lines. These two commercial product lines are basically treatments of tumors that are easy to reach from the surface of the skin. So those are commercial both in human and for animal care. And then we have our R&D program, which includes treating deep-seated tumors, complex tumors that even I would say the most serious researchers in the world is fighting day and night to try to solve. We're talking about tumor indications like pancreatic cancer. It can be prostate cancer without creating side effects, and other indications that follows the same problematic situation. I told you that we have to think about that 6-volt battery, because this technology that we have developed had a first generation on the market and is still on the market. That technology is built on the fact that you're using an electrical pulse and expose the tumor cells to that to create openings in the tumor cell. These openings are used to improve the uptake of chemotherapy agents like a anti-cancer drug that you give, and to create a toxic level in the tumor area. So far so good. But remember this 6-volt battery that I talked about? Because I used to work with this old technology myself, and I went to the scientist, how come we use the same battery to treat a tumor on the leg as we do on in the mouth? What do you mean, Mohan? Why shouldn't we? Yeah, but you're saying the reaction and the treatment is the same, right? How can it be the same if I don't feel any damage to my fingertips when I hold a 6-volt battery between my fingers? But when I put it in my mouth, I get a burn wound on my tip of my tongue with a 6-volt battery. Can imagine what happens if we use a technology using 1000 volt to stimulate cells. Yet, but Mohan, we want to kill the cell anyway. Doesn't matter if we open the membrane or we kill the tumor in total. That's the magic, and that's the basic of ChemoTech. We believe that instead of having 3 different treatments in one, we could either open the cell membrane, we can burn the membrane, or we can burn the entire tissue to death. Instead, our philosophy is, why should we create a damage to the most intelligent thing on earth? The human body. We have an ability to correct ourselves and heal ourselves, and we have functions to help us do that. So instead of creating destructions, ChemoTech's technology has built in an intelligence to this device to ensure you that you are just in that part of the treatment where we open the cell without creating damage. Exactly what the other ones told that they did, but they didn't do it. So by creating this sensitivity in the device, we created the tumor-specific electroporation, TSE. And instead of just opening membrane to improve the uptake of chemotherapy, we give the body its own chance to feel off the antigens being leaking out of these membrane openings and create antibodies. Instead of in the past, destroy both the antigens and destroy the lymphocytes and destroy the lymph system all in total and create an unbalance in the body. So the treatment looks like this. We have electrodes that are transporting an electrical pulse into the tumor area at the same time as we have given a very low dose of chemotherapy to the patient. So by opening the membrane and stimulating the cells in that area, we improve the uptake and the effect of chemotherapy over 1000 times without creating a systemic toxicity in the body in the patient. We have a strong board of directors. We have a chairman with a long history of research and science from AstraZeneca in Lund, Lars Hedbys. We have Rolf Ernström. He is a former CTO in Immunovia. Bengt Engström, industrial man, who's also been in the board of directors of big industrial companies and CEO. Robin Sukhia, a very skilled person when it comes to Sweden-Indian relations. I will come to that later. And we have Martin Järndal, a banking and finance expert. He happens to be here in the audience today, so if you have time, take the moment of saying hi to him. Myself, CEO, and then we have Deepak in India, responsible for commercialization. Suhil, a very prominent oncopathologist in charge of our medical program. And Eva Ståhl Wernersson, a strong person in quality and assurance. And R&D, we have Muttu in India as well, and Jonathan is in charge of IR. So India, yeah, you saw it was a lot of people in India in our management board. When I designed the product, I didn't design it before I made my marketing plan. Which market, which needs, and for what kind of element should we concentrate. When I did that, all my analysis said Sweden is not the primary market for cancer. If you want to treat as many patients as you can, you should focus on Middle East, India, Southeast Asia. 65% of all the deaths occurred by cancer is in these regions. Our focus is India. It's a continent with 1.3 billion people. It's going to be enough for us to succeed in one country. After that success, I heard a former presenter here talking about a snowball effect. We're going to be a snowball already in India. And after that, yeah, numbers just going to be a fun game to play. What other markets do we have that is great in need, great in size, but slightly economical, more than maybe the healthcare system in Europe and in Sweden when it comes to cancer? Yeah, it is our animal care program. And instead of going to India, America and Europe in veterinary care has the same kind of character. Less of options, few competitors, and a lot of patients that doesn't get care. That's why we took the choice to go into veterinary medicine with our product. TSE, tumor-specific electroporation, can be positioned in an area in the position map almost alone. There is almost no competitive treatment in this field, which makes it easy for us to maneuver. Easy when it comes to compare ourselves to other treatment. If it's easy to succeed, no, it's not. We need to create clinical data. We need to be professional in the way we work to show both the healthcare system and the different societies within the doctors that our therapy is not only safe, efficient, but also has a position for future research. That is what makes doctors tick. A few weeks ago, a few days ago, we announced an updated report. Not only did our therapy go into a war zone in Ukraine, it's also made an impact to these physicians that was so great that they actually tried it on pancreatic cancer. And the success so far has been over our own expectations. These patients are in home care facilities without pain and a mobility that can be almost equal to perform a light work, light exercise, and a normal lifestyle. And this is where our clinical focus is for the future. We are going to create a global network of collaborators from academia and from scientists to drive our program for pancreatic cancer further into Europe and into United States to create what we see a potential new paradigm in cancer care.
Thank you very much for the presentation, Mohan. I have some questions. You're allowed to ask questions if you want, if you have any. I have a question about where in the stage the company is. You have the animal care segment, and then you have the human care segment. Where are you?
Both of these business units have a commercial at the commercial entry level. The human medicine is there on the superficial tumors that are easy to reach from the surface of the skin, and that is primarily in India. We working on the commercialization phase together with the government of India, a university hospital there, and leading physicians. So that's where the commercialization have started in human medicine. Animal care is the same. It's the same kind of problem and tumors we're treating. It just happens to be in cats, dogs, and horses. And there, the commercialization focus is here in Scandinavia and Europe, North America, and soon also we're going to look into the Australian market.
Okay. And the focus now is to gather supporting evidence for the technology, or is it to target specific indications?
Yeah, we do start targeting some of the indications that we see has the highest burden in India, for instance, head and neck cancer. 100,000+ patients are suffering from head and neck cancer every year, with over 60% of those do not have a sufficient treatment. They are in palliative care already first time they reach the hospital. That is not only the area where we see the opportunities. We have breast cancer, all kinds of skin cancer as well. And then the deep-seated tumors are more what we call the research part of the company. And that is first line is in human medicine. And we see a potential movement into animal care as well. But lucky enough, our pets do not suffer that often for deep-seated tumors. It's more superficial tumors in animal care. So yeah, a strong research part, deep-seated tumors, pancreatic cancer, the really tough indications to treat that the doctor associations also see as a challenging part here in Europe and US. And the commercialization in large client volumes where the need is great and the competition is very low.
So what will is there any studies that will come out this year that will that the investors should look out for?
If you say if they become published, I'm not
Yes.
I'm not sure if they're going to be published, because that's something that is outside the company's control.
Yeah.
But that we will have clinical trial data ready to be submitted for being published. That is the target.
Yeah. Okay.
And both for human and for animal care.
And for animal care, I understand that you might have sales going this year.
Yes, we see a strong interest of our product, not only as a electroporation device. When we go out and meet people in veterinary industry, they really seem to have understood that this is not to be compared with the older technology, the static one, you know, the one that burned or even destroyed the tissue. So they really see the benefit. And one of the reasons for that is obviously that some animals are more sensitive than humans are. And this technology was developed for humans. So if you're not in balance and use it on a small cat, obviously the damage on a cat will be much more dramatic than a man that is 80 kilos big.
But does it mean that you have to, the competitors with the older technology, do you have to take their place, or is the market still growing a lot?
I would say both.
Okay.
In animal care on superficial tumors, even in Europe and US, it's a strongly growing market, but there are some side effects that on the older technology, like witnessing on burns and destruction of tissue in sensitive areas, where you don't want your pet to be destroyed, close to an eye or a nose that is of life importance for a cat and a dog. That's how they survive, walking around without smelling or feel or using that ability.
Yeah. Any questions? No. I got a question from we have a Slack where an investor asked about you talked about maybe a potential spin-off at LSI Emerging MedTech Summit last year. Is that a potential?
I would be. I would say that a spin-off in our industry is always something that we look at. It's not. I would say it's not also a coincidence that animal care is run under its own legal entity.
Mm.
It's too easy such a transaction, and from a physical regulation perspective, it's good to be prepared in your structure for such thing before it happens. But if we're going to do that this year, the answer is no.
No. Good to know. Also, I got another question. Are you still actively working on Horizon SME? I think it's funding.
Yeah. No, actually,
No.
we do not. And the reason why is our advisor have told us that ChemoTech has come too far for that program. We are in both. Are we publicly listed? We have reached a commercialization, and we cannot lean on our survival as a company on one single project.
Mm.
And Horizon is mainly created to let entrepreneurs and new started companies to reach their only surviving project. And since we have 2 business units, we have several indications that we work with, it's very hard to be successful and prove that we need those money better than anybody else.
Mm. Thank you very much. How many IQ waves do you expect government hospitals in India could have in 2 years? Is it a potential, or will it take time?
It is a potential, and that is the number one reason why we work with government. We work to get tender business out of creating a standardized treatment for head and neck. I will say it like this. Head and neck cancer in India is a disease that is reaching and more focused on low to mid class people, because hygiene is part of the reason why they suffer. They are almost all of them focused on getting their care in public healthcare. If we get 120,000 new cases a year and an IQ-Wave system from us, what we call is a fully deployed device treating about 250 to 400 patients a year. You can calculate yourself how many you would need, because there is no sufficient treatment for these patients at this stage in India.
Yeah. That sums it up.
Yeah.
Thank you for the
very much.
presentation. Thank you. Q&A.